I cannot overstate the importance of Jesse Jackson, both in domestic policy and U.S. history and world history and international policy. I cannot overstate his importance. We lost a giant, a titan, a powerhouse, quite literally a force of nature. So I'm going to tell you about him. This is a history snack. I've got a list of 5 books that you can read, including a list of his sermons and his speeches. We can't cover his entire life because he did so much. And he carried the mantle of the civil rights movement. He was a protege of Martin Luther King Jr. All of the photos you'll see are going to come from The Guardian today. They've got an entire article that I can put in the comments. I can't make this shorter than 3 minutes. You know, history snacks are supposed to be something for you to munch on, but I can't condense this man's life into 3 minutes. It's not possible. And this wasn't my plan for my history snack today. We were going to talk about Dr. Ronald McNair, an astrophysicist lost to us on the Challenger crash. But Jesse Jackson passed away this morning at 84 years old, and he's not just a man who moved the needle so much for Black American rights, for every single person's rights in this country. He's not just that, he's also a study in political power and how to leverage it and when to leverage it and when to be a lightning rod and when to speak softly and carry a big stick. He didn't do that much. He got arrested multiple times over his life, and he was constantly at the forefront of making very good trouble. And like I said, he took the heat. He was that lightning rod from time to time to get it off of people. So let's talk about him, right? And to his family, thank you. Two of his sons have represented the American people at the federal level. He was also a D.C. senator, a shadow senator. Those are the senators that don't get votes. So D.C., Puerto Rico, other territories, they're still colonies now. So let's talk about him. He was born in Greenville, South Carolina, which is just down the road from where I am right now. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. We used to compete in Greenville, South Carolina. He was born to a teenage mother and her neighbor who was married. He was born out of wedlock, and he was born Jesse Burns in 1941. His mother would go on to marry a man with the last name Jackson, and he would change his name because he would be adopted. But he says throughout his entire life he had great relations with both his fathers, and it shaped the man he was, right? Again, born 1941, Montgomery bus boycott starts 1955. He is a part of the Greenville 8 in 1960 who get arrested for a sit-in at a whites-only library in Greenville, South Carolina. You will see photos of him all day today marching with Martin Luther King Jr. He worked with him in the SCLC. He was also he was the leader of Operation Breadbasket in Chicago, which was the economic side of the boycotts in the North, right? They had seen the Montgomery boycotts in the South, and so he pushed for that. He then goes on to found PUSH and the Rainbow Coalition. Now, PUSH is People United to, I think it was Save Humanity at first, but now it's Serve Humanity. He's been on the forefront of civil rights and the Equal Rights Amendment, which is something that he was pushing not just for Black Americans, but for women as well. He has been consistently at the forefront of working against police violence across the country. He was there in 2020, even at the age of 78. Internationally, he helped negotiate hostage removal all the time in multiple different places, in Syria, in Cuba. He has met with the Nicaraguan presidents. He has met with almost every single president that's lived since the 60s. He ran for president in 1984 and 1988. One of the books on the list is called Dream Deferred, and you can learn more about it. I also put a hard copy book on that list about the political power of him running for president in the 80s, where in 84 he came in third behind Walter Mondale and someone else's name who's lost to my memory. And then in 88 he came in second right behind Walter Mondale. Got 30% of the vote. I cannot understate the importance of Jesse Jackson running in the 80s as a Black man during a anti-crime push that was targeting Black American men, that was skyrocketing our private prison numbers in a disproportionate fashion. He marched against apartheid in South Africa. There's not a moment in time in the 20th and 21st century that you don't get to talk about Jesse Jackson. He should be an inspiration, and you should learn about him today, because he is what happens when you have good moral clarity and you take action. And I hope you'll look into him today, and I hope you'll understand that, of course, when he stood up for people that the mass media or the president at the time didn't want you to stand up for, he became that lightning rod. People said he was too fiery. He was passionate. He cared about people. He got arrested so many times, we don't even know. He was always making good trouble, and he was always standing up for all Americans. And I mean that. And, his civil rights work is unmatched. And of course, he pushed for civil rights for Black Americans. But the thing about it is when we push for civil rights for Black Americans and we push for civil liberties for people who have been consistently denied civil liberties, we rise all the boats up, right? It's a rising tide. So to Jesse Jackson's family, thank you. And my prayers are with you today. I know he was ill, so I hope you just know he's in a better place and that we appreciate him as the American people.